I just have something to say. Mr. Stanley's been taking a lot of heat for wearing Florida colors, and what he's doing, he's mourning their death at the hands of Alabama last Saturday, so there you go. All right, first item on the agenda is school happenings, so I think Ms. Miller is here.
Good morning. Thank y'all for the opportunity to be here and to brag about everything going on in our school right now. You were clear. Okay. You don't mind? I just forgot. Go ahead and put the things. I'm going to talk to you about everything that's happened from August until last week with our kiddos. So there's been a lot going on and a lot of good stuff. First of all, just the demographics of our school this year is 59 or almost 60% of our kiddos is right where they need to be, grade level, getting just general Joe instruction. Then we have 11% in tier 2 where they need just a little extra. Tier 3, we're getting kind of where the rubber's hitting the road. We're trying to make sure that they can learn and get to know something. And then tier 4 is like all of our special services kids. So we have 23% of the population. Yes, sir?
Would you explain what tier 1, 2, 3, and 4 is?
I would love to.
Tier, actually.
Well, the state of Georgia, we're the only state that has 4 tiers anyway. They call like tier 1's like the bottom of the pyramid, and like if anybody just walks into the classroom and like the teacher just teaching her plain old lesson plan, and the kids would get it, learn, and grow from it. That's all the kids at tier 1. They don't need any extra support. Tier 2, they've hit kind of a snag in the road, maybe in math or something. They may not be getting addition or subtraction just the way everybody else is getting it, so the teacher may have to pull them aside to work a little extra with them, set them with a peer pro, something like that. At this time, we start monitoring it to make sure it's not a bigger problem, so we call that tier 2. Tier 3, those same kids may have been working with a teacher special or peer pro, but they're still not getting it, so that's not working either, so we have to get a little more in depth. And at our school, one of the things that we do at tier 3 is Betty Davenport's our interventionist, and then she'll go in and pull those kids and work on exactly what they need. And her reputation and her record is phenomenal. So she can't get them to learn and grow. That's when we start deciding, does this kid have a specific learning disability? Does he need to go to special education? Those kind of things. And if there's no growth and the committee agrees that that's the way we need to go, that's when we pull in Heather and her team and school psychologists to test and see what's going on. But if they start showing growth and start getting it, we stay there, and then you can go backwards too, so this can go back down in tiers. So that's how we kind of keep up with our kiddos. Absolutely. 65% of our population is free and reduced lunch this year per Candy's report in November. And then I thought it was interesting that 16 out of 22 of our pre-K students were free lunch. Because I know we were kind of worried when we started this program, are we going to, I don't know if I have the right to say we're targeting the right population or not, but my perception is we would kind of want to target those students that may have fewer opportunities than other, and I think with 16 out of 22 getting free lunch kind of shows us that we did get a majority of the population that needed a little extra assistance.
I think that balance of that population, I think will make a real difference in those children coming into school. I think that's good.
Yeah. So, one thing we started with the teachers this year is professional learning communities, because we started and developed social studies teams, science, math, and language arts and reading. And we have a kindergarten teacher all the way to a 5th grade teacher on social studies. So we're doing some of that vertical planning. Because figured out if you don't know where you're going at the end, then how in the world are you going to get there? So they're all building a roadmap together. And out of some of our meetings, some of the things that they've already decided was our issues as far as kids learning from year to year was identified in this chart. But one of the ones that I thought was most interesting was in the math professional learning community. And just with the teachers sitting down and talking, they realized that they were not using the same vocabulary or the same language for math from year to year. So in 1st grade, they may be using the word addition, 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 and then in the next grade level, they may be using sum or greater than. So not only are the kids having to learn how to do the operations of math, but they were having to learn a whole new language, almost like going from English to Spanish. And we wasn't stopping to teach them the vocabulary. So they've developed a common vocabulary throughout the school, and Denise is actually helping us do posters to go out to the school so we can use that same language. So it was things like that that came out of this work, so this has been very exciting for me.
It's amazing that y'all have to, little things like that, maybe tremendously, something that you wouldn't think of necessarily. It's good that you can find a solution like that.
Well, that's why that one was so exciting to me, and it kind of taught me a personal lesson, because here I was trying to solve the problem up here, thought it was kids and operations and functions in our curriculum, when really it was a one volt problem with everybody just using the same words. So it kind of made me realize that we need to step back and look at the whole picture before we just start throwing solutions at the problem. STEM right now, we've got more than this going on, but one of our main goals is to get all the grade levels integrated together into one common theme or one common goal. One place that we're doing okay with STEM now is in the science and math area. Technology's coming on board as far as integrating that. The engineering piece, we're still lacking a little bit there, but I've got some hope out of second grade that something happened, and I'll tell you there in just a minute. But ours is kind of environmental design and ecology. So all of this is integrating together. Kindergarten is actually germinating seeds and growing all of our plants that we're using on campus. So first grade is building bluebird houses, and they're also working with butterfly habitats and those kind of things. Second grade hatched and is currently growing chickens. Third grade has researched and replicated Georgia habitats in some of our raised beds. Fourth grade are growing worm farms and created a new habitat to mimic Georgia habitats outside of our walkway. And then fifth grade's composting.
No, chickens just love worms.
Huh?
Chickens just love worms.
Well, see, there you go. So this is what we're doing. Second grade is actually sending when they clean out the chicken cages, it's going to fifth grade. It's going into our composting. He's also getting stuff from the cafeteria to compost. Fourth grade is using part of that compost to help grow their worms and then put the worms back in the dirt. Third grade is helping to build the beds to keep flowers. It's going to feed the bluebird houses, and they also use the composted soil from fifth grade. And then kindergarten is growing all the little plants to plant in the beds. So that's how we're trying to integrate it that way. But like I said, science and math we've got integrated well. Technology's coming, the engineering part. But the funny thing is that the second grade students are frustrated because the chickens keep kicking their water over. So the kids have come up on their own that they need to devise a plan to build something to keep the chickens from kicking their water over. So our engineering part's starting to slowly come in just a little bit. So that was exciting.
Do they, at this stage, do they do the pH and soil evaluation, or is that something you send out?
We're send out because fourth grade is got plans to work with the 4-H, the extension office, to do some things. And what they've actually done is they've put some of their worms in one section of their garden and not the other to see which one is kind of going to do better if the soil's amended. So they're having fun with it. I'm having fun with it. And then the next ones are some pictures of them actually doing the work. There's the second graders over setting their chickens free in their cages.
Where did you get that chicken coop?
Ordered it from Home Depot, I think. So it was cute, and the kids, the fifth graders actually came down and helped the second graders put the coop together. There's some of our butterfly beds. Third grade doing their rocks and doing baby models of their Georgia environments before they set them outside. This is some of the math where they had to grid off and calculate the number of seeds they did, like multiplication arrays and stuff to figure out where to do all that. And the bottom middle picture is some of our kiddos, 4th grade actually grew a lot of kale. They made kale chips in our STEM lab and ate those. The one on the bottom right is 3rd grade building a mini environment before they went out to the beds too, to see how to filtrate different soil would filter water, those kind of things. Okay. Pre-K. Pre-K has been a lot of fun. Miss Rebecca Green and Crystal Walden are doing a phenomenal job with our 22 little ones, and there they are in the bottom corner being themselves, having a little candid photo around our pre-K sign. This is pre-K at work. So, and if you'll notice what I thought was really cute in the top left-hand corner, the little guy in the orange, you can tell he's frustrated about something because A, he's back to the table, but if you'll look at his little plate, he drew a little frown, so I have a feeling that he was pretty upset with the happenings of the day at this point in time, so I'm sure that he'll be pulled back around, but he must have gotten a little bit of trouble. The middle one is that we've partnered with the Craddock Center, and the Craddock Center, their first visit, they came and let all the pre-K students go and pick out a book to take home with themselves. The bottom left-hand corner is, there has to be an hour of free play in pre-K where the teacher goes around and works with them. And so these kids had set up a little house, and you can see little mama in the blue up there cooking or something, and she's telling the rest of them kind of what to do. And then the bottom right. You can watch them at 4 and 5, and you know exactly how they're going to be when they grow up. It's hilarious. And then bottom right, they were actually on a field trip. They went to Mercier's and some different places on a field trip. So the stuff we've been doing the first half of the year, we started our student council, first one ever at Blue Ridge Elementary. We've had our star students every month that recognizes kids with character traits. We've had a level 1 and a level 2 garden club this year, a sign language club, our art club, and we have a running club. The bottom left is the day of the induction of our student council. Miss Ragsdale does that with me. And then we have the art club, sign language clubs is the one with the students with the yellow folders on their lap. And then of course garden club is bottom right. And then garden club's also with the older gentleman. Mm-hmm. Events we've done so far this year. Alpha dissected some brains and some organs on a field trip. 4th grade's gone to Funk Heritage. We've had fire safety. 1st grade's gone to Cooper Creek Farms. 2nd grade, we've done Hillcrest Orchards. 1st grade's did a unit on owls and part of the environment to see what birds of prey eat and those kind of things to help back with the STEM stuff. Pre-K went to Mercier Orchards. We took the whole school took a walking historical tour of Blue Ridge. First thing this year, kindergarten went to Johnny Appleseed. We've had Grandparents' Day. We've had Thanksgiving lunch. 50 celebration for AR for the community was phenomenal. Mr. Beard was one of them that brought some old cars for the kids to look at. Water Day, Veterans Day. Again, star student receptions. We had pre-K and kinder and 1st grade go downtown for Halloween. Then we had a fall festival. Gingerbread Village, our 3rd grade entered our Gingerbread Village, and our art club did as well. One of our 3rd grade homeroom classes actually won their division of the Gingerbread House contest. So we walked 3rd grade down last Friday to let them see the Gingerbread Village and let them vote on People's Choice Award. The radio. 2nd grade went to New Echota State Park. We've had a spelling bee. Fire safety's on there twice, apologize for that. And then 5th grade's going to Telepointers. Oh, Lord. All right, Craddock Center with pre-K, 3rd grade Funk Heritage, flag etiquette. The Veterans Committee that does most of our Veterans Day, we have a team of 5th grades that takes care of the flag force, but they didn't know the flag etiquette, so they came in and taught them a class on how to actually handle the flag. Okay, 3rd grade, we can click. Our special ed kiddos are actively engaged in community-based instruction. They actually got to go to the courthouse and do some mock trials and the Pledge of Allegiance with the port and those things, Yahoo Farms and Clear Orchards. Special Olympics, some of the events that they've done so far, and this year's basketball, they were in the Light Up Blue Ridge downtown parade. We had Career Day, where all grade levels participated in hearing at least 4 speakers from outside about the career cluster in their grade level. Yeah, Dr. G's in there. This was one of the best days, and this really shows that Fannin County school system is a family. We wanted to take our student counts, and we found out that some of them had never seen the other schools in the system. So every principal or every director agreed to let us come by, and they took their time out to tour our student council around their school or their department. Mr. Long even had a bus up and let the kids walk in and see what underneath the bus looked like with them, and so they really, really enjoyed that. And one of the girls, when they walked through, noticed that there was only one female picture up on the wall, and she decided before she left that her picture would be up there someday as superintendent, so we'll see if that comes true in a few years. Principals of the day, we had some kiddos to earn the opportunity to be principals of the day, so they took over my office for the day. And one little kindergartner, the one with the little orange there under the guy with the bow tie, we created a monster because every time we go to get onto him now for walking feet, he says, "I'm friends with the principal." So we'll see where that goes. Okay. Professional development, we're doing STEM, the 3 R's, science and social studies, technology. So far this fall semester, we've had 43 staff members participate in 48 professional learning opportunities. Title II-A and QBEPL combined, we've spent $15,000, or budgeted $15,000 for this year, and that doesn't count what the system provides for us to participate in pioneer and in-house opportunities. So system very vested in growing our teachers. Our students have heart. Our 5th graders in pre-K lunches at the same time, so 5th grade has adopted pre-K, help teachers out. They go help them with their milk, they eat with them, they're their friends. 4th grade is helping, they just took it upon themselves to go help kindergarten with their AR test. Teacher of the Year is Robbie Callahan. She is a gem like no other. And then that's us. Most of the time somebody got that candid shot, you're always having to think to try to figure out what to do next for the next kids and keep them successful. My next step, last year I told you my professional development is learning how to delegate. This year, my next professional thing is learning how and to be brave enough to advocate for our students in our profession outside of the school walls.
Facing Blue Ridge City Council.
Yes, that was a scary day for me, but I was called, told to do it, so I did it. And then just where we are respectful, responsible, and ready to learn. So, thank you. Questions?
How is the pre-K going? Are you very satisfied with how that's developed this year? I'm kind of curious about how we're looking forward on that.
And first of all, I offer anybody an invitation that wants to come visit at any time. They are completely integrated, same drop-off time, same pickup time. They have lunch just like everybody else. They participate in everything in the school except for like PE and art, and we don't go to those teachers, but the teacher inside the classroom does that. There's been tremendous growth. There are some that we're still working on. We have, we've got some kids that weren't completely potty trained, so we've worked on everything from that to where we have kids that came reading, so she's kind of bridging the gap for those kind of things. So, but I do encourage you to come by and see it because they are hilarious. Yes, sir.
I wish the parents of the children could have the privilege of seeing this.
So, one thing that we can do is, Ms. Bramlett is phenomenal at putting stuff out there for us. She is great at our PR and advertising, so that is something that we can put out there for people.
If they did do this, they would want to increase your pay. Try to decide how many hours a day you work.
Yeah. Well, I called Ms. Hyde the other day, kind of frustrated because I was tired, I couldn't do something. Then when we got finished with that, I'm like, okay, never mind, I know I'm tired. So.
We have good schools, work hard. I'm really proud of the way that we've started integrating the community into our schools. I think that we will show benefits for that. I've got some good embargo news that will help show some of that too. Thank you, Ms. Miller.
One
Ms.
more
Miller.
question, one more question.
Yes, sir.
Pre-K, age group.
4.
Ms. Miller's special unique talent is that she sings on the bus radios on certain mornings. So we've had the wheels on the bus go round and round in rawhide. Her selections to sing on the bus radio.
Well, you can either choose to be happy or sad, so there you go.
She entertains me in the morning. Next is school governance team update. That will be Ms. Patrick.
There's nothing out of the ordinary going on with school governance teams. Blue Ridge did not have a
I'll
meeting.
give them.
Perfect. That's all right. Blue Ridge didn't have a meeting in November because they did not have a quorum, but they didn't need one anyways. They didn't have anything big going on. So that's just standard things.
Okay, so that's that. Annual board self-assessment.
Yes,
This is something that we do every year.
pass those that way.
So that we may.
Yeah. Okay, you need more idea. This year, y'all all completed your board self-assessment in a great manner. I didn't have to call anybody to remind them. It was wonderful, so thank you very much. And I'm happy to say that y'all are rated satisfactory on everything. So there's not really anything to discuss. Once you go through that again, if you have any questions, just let me know.
Well, and this is something that the board doesn't have to do. The board takes it upon themselves to do this, and it does take time to do. One of the reasons that y'all can rate yourself satisfactory is you care about things like this, and you do things like this to make sure that you're doing what you need to do. And it shows through things like Ms. Miller's PowerPoint. When we've got a board that can agree and work together, then we have schools that function well. So I appreciate that.
This is one component of, our board has been a distinguished board for many years. This year, they applied to be exemplary board, which they completed all the requirements for. So this is one requirement of GSBA that they look at themselves every year. So they've been doing this for quite a while.
All right, the next item is review agenda, and Mr. Chairman, I want to point out that Ms. Basir and Mr. Brown are not here this morning. They're at their annual Farm Bureau meeting in Jekyll Island or St. Simon's, I can't remember, but they'll be here Thursday night. All right, so we have call to order, invocation, pledge of allegiance, consent agenda, so let's look at minutes. We've got the regular session, and I think Mr. Costa will probably have today's minutes ready to go, so we look at those so that we can keep those in the consent agenda. Public comment, and financial report. Let's look at October's financials. Right now, local sources are at 6% versus 6% for this time last year. Total revenues are 17% versus 17% for this time last year. Total expenditures, if you'll notice, that's coming down from last month's meeting, is 34% versus 33%. The reason that we're running above budget on total expenditures is because of the one-time 3% raise that teachers received, well, not teachers, but all school personnel received back in September, that the governor would love to take credit for, but he just didn't send down enough money to do that. We had to kick in some of our own local money to do that. We will come more in line with our expenditures as we go on. And if you notice, we came down from last month too. We completed 33.33% of the fiscal year, so we are on track. So I would recommend that the board approve this, the October financials as presented at Thursday night's meeting. Now, here's some good news. Look at our SPOS, $460,556.44. That's, when we went back, me and Susan went and looked at this, I think this was the third highest SPOS payment ever, even pre-recession. And we feel like one of the ones that beat it was an outlier where we got more than 1 month's collection. So we are rolling with SPOS, and we don't know what forest fires will do to to the October SPOS. We don't know if that affected tourism in Blue Ridge or not, we'll just have to wait and see. But SPOS is rolling along, and we are on track to collect $24,204,575.19. That is just tremendous. I always like to go back to the first SPOS we passed in 2000, we collected around $13 million. SPOS is a blessing to our school system. It maintains our buildings, it allows us to do all these neat STEM things that we've been seeing done. I can't say enough about SPOS, and I can't say enough about Chamber of Commerce and the way that they promote Blue Ridge, because we got one of the lowest property digest, tax digest, and we got, I shouldn't say we got the lowest property tax digest, we've got the lowest millage, one of the lowest lower millage rates in the state of Georgia. Yet we have first-class facilities, and a lot of people from Atlanta and Florida are paying for those for us.
What's interesting is that there's a lot of areas that have more natural resources, more really to offer. That's just floundering, so to speak.
That's true. I mean, if you look at LJ, we just flat outdo LJ as far as SPOS is concerned. There was a time when that was not the case. I lost my train of thought.
Kind of bait.
It does, doesn't it? It was gonna be good too, I'm sorry, but, oh well. Budget amendments, federal budget amendments, I think this is Mr. Inslee. What would you like to say about that?
Aisle 6B dropped and we're spending the money.
So, this is kind of a new requirement that the board approves, budget amendments, so we're gonna ask for the board to approve this budget amendment Thursday night. All right, next is, approved Schedule 4, SPOS expenditures. I hope you're gonna do more than shake your head.
I thought that was good.
This House Bill 1013 was approved in the 2010 legislative session, which requires an annual non-technical report to the board, and also for this report to be published in the newspaper and on our website. And this is to be done annually by December 31st. It's broken down by category, and we only report for the SPOS that we have expenditures on. And SPOS 3 for fiscal year 16 is the only SPOS that we had expenditures on. We had started collections on SPOS 4, but the expenditures had not occurred as of June 30th, 2016. And this is just showing it's broken in category. The original estimated cost is the first, well actually the first category is, that comes straight from our referendum of what the voters approved, broken down by category. The next category is the original estimated cost of those projects, then the current estimated cost if it's different, amount expended in prior years, and amount expended in current year, and then whether the project is finished or is still more work to be done. So just, this is for your approval, and then we will publish in the newspaper and also on our website.
And it's not required that we publish in the paper. We found that out last year, but we, in good faith, are going to do that.
Well, it's required we publish in the paper, it's not required the board approve.
Okay.
Last December, I don't know if you guys remember, but we were unable to get a quorum for various reasons in that, and I've spazzed out, because we have to approve the Schedule 4. And we called Harbin and Hartley, and they said, actually the Office of Audits, and they said, no, you don't have to have approval, you just have to publish it. So, but we would like to be transparent, and you all approve it.
Yeah, we believe in transparency, so we want y'all to approve it. It goes in the minutes, people can see it, all those good things. So, we'll ask you to do that Thursday night. We also have coming up approval of construction manager guaranteed maximum price of our Fannin County Agricultural and Environmental Science Facility. They opened the bids last Wednesday while we were up here fighting the weather and power outages and all sorts of things. Mr. Chimpall went down and opened them with them, and he's had his plate full, and he's been working with them. We are still looking at and negotiating the guaranteed maximum price. So we will talk more about that Thursday night. Danny, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
We're just, a lot of work's going on right now on the prices of different things in this job, so there's put a lot of time into it.
I just still wanna integrate that we're not bricking that, we're gonna put the stone, is that right?
We're negotiating several things. There won't be.
Yeah.
We now know what the bids are, and we've looked at some things, and I'm gonna tell you something, I've known Danny since I was a toddler, and here's what I can tell you. Once he gets on something, he doesn't let it go easily, and that's one of the reasons I wanted him to be our facilities person, because Carol Daniel right now realizes that Danny Shimpaw's owned them to make sure that we get the most for the money that we're gonna pay for this thing. You know, we've never felt like we wanna build Taj Mahals in Fannin County, but we do wanna build buildings that our students and our community will be proud of, and we wanna build them at a fair price, and that's what Danny's been doing since last Wednesday, and juggling some family issues and those types of things too, so he's doing a great job. The reason that we don't wanna come out here right now and say, well, this is what it's gonna be, is because we're not there yet. He came in the door this morning telling me several things that he talked to about Carol Daniels about this. So, with that said, I can assure you, prior to some sources in Fannin County quoting that project is off the books, it absolutely is not. We are going to proceed forward with that. We're just trying to make sure that if we're going to build a building of this magnitude and this scope, I mean, this is the flagship building that's going to come out of this SPOS, and we've not really built a major project in several years. We haven't had any flagship projects like the PAC, new gym, athletic facility like we have up here on the hill. We've been doing upgrades and retrofits to our buildings. This is going to be a flagship project. This is going to be a project that's going to be around. You know, we got West Fannin and East Fannin sitting out there that have been around since 1955. This building will be around those many years too. So we want to make sure that we get it off the ground, get it right, and we get a price for this building that's fair to the citizens of Fannin County. And that's what we're working hard. Yes, sir.
You commented to me that this would have a sprinkler system.
Yes.
Which is exceptional for that type of.
Well, you know, we believe in, if we're gonna use it as an instructional facility, we wanna make sure that it is a safe environment for our kids. And when you label something an instructional facility, we keep calling this thing a barn. It's not a barn, it's an instructional facility. Then we wanna upgrade it and have the safety features that a modern instructional facility should have. So we've made sure that that's been in the plans of Southern A&E. We want to get this right, and that's what we're working on. And I have no fears with Mr. Kimpaw on this, because he'll make sure it's right, and he'll make sure it's a good price. So anyway, we will come back hopefully Thursday night with a guaranteed maximum price, but I'll tell you now, we might not if we don't think we've whittled it down as far as we need to go.
If we can save some money, we'll wait.
I
A
agree.
little while.
I agree. And here's the thing too about this. If we wait, it only benefits us in our cash flow coming into SPOS, because we're not gonna bond. You know, we've said and made a commitment to each other's board and superintendent that we're not gonna bond unless there's like a disaster or something. So that means it's amazing that we can look at a building of this magnitude on the front end of the SPOS to be able to even think about building, but we can't. But the longer we wait, the more we can have proper cash flow coming in, and Susan's not stressing me out. So, anyway, with that said, next is local board training. We talk about that, it seems like endlessly, Mrs.
We'll talk more Thursday.
Walton, so you're not gonna say anything today? Okay. You and Robert got the head shaking thing going on. Appoint the school board attorney, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Dawson's been our attorney now for several years, and she will be here in the blink of an eye when I call her, and I call her very early in the mornings, lots of mornings. The good thing about Ms. Dawson is she never sleeps, so I never use my rule of nines where I don't call somebody before 9 or after 9. I can call her at any time. She comes over here, she works hard for the school board, and many times she doesn't even send us a bill. what she does. So it's gonna be my recommendation to the board that we appoint Ms. Doss as our school board attorney, for the upcoming year. My evaluation, y'all been doing that online, I think Ms. Hammer gave y'all gold stars on your timeliness and not having to remind you, so I assume that I've been evaluated, and I assume that we'll talk about that on Thursday night. Personnel, I hate to tell y'all this, I haven't looked at this sheet. And I feel like there might be some updates to this. Personnel saying yes, and finance is saying yes, so I'll entertain the board if y'all want to go into executive session. You will have to go into executive session Thursday night to conduct my evaluation, so with that said, I'll leave it up to y'all today. Whether you want to executive session.
I think we're good today.
Okay. And it'll be my comments, and I'm gonna let, and I hope you do more than shake your head, yes. I'm gonna let, Mr. Inslee share some good embargo news that we're very proud of. It made my day, and we can't brag about it because we'll get our hands slapped by the State Department. But we've got some good news coming. And then we've got board members' comments and adjourned, so we're back over to today's agenda, and that was the last item on the agenda, Mr. Chairman. So with that said, this side of the table has no more.
Would you do what I asked you to do?
Oh, that's right. Mr. Bearden wanted us to explain next month's procedures, because we've got a new board member, Ms. Basir, going off. But we will elect a board chair and vice chair, and the board chair has to relinquish control to me while we conduct that. Anything else I need to say?
Just
So
wanted
let's
to
not-
let you know that, Mr. Galloway.
That's not for
So
this month,
you'll know what's happening next month.
so.
See.
I just want to say one thing, you know, we just passed the anniversary of 9/11 here a couple of months ago, but tomorrow is a big anniversary.
Yes,
Hope everyone will take a minute and remember what happened 75 years ago tomorrow. That's it.
Have a motion to adjourn?
So, man.
Have a second? Second. All in favor?